So come and sit on your mats with your support. Swastikasana or Sukhasana, simple cross legs. Make sure that you sit equally on both body bones. You can even lift the hips up, pull the buttocks back, and bring them equally down onto your support. Roll the shoulders back, keeping that connection front waist to back waist, so that the lumbar band, the mid band of the back, stays long without coming forward. When you open the chest, bring the shoulder blades in, dorsal spine towards the back of the sternum, and the edges of your neck long, head on top of your spine. Keep this balanced, lifted, light structure in the trunk, legs releasing down, and take your hands into Namaskar-asana. Slow, soft, deep, peaceful inhalations. Slow, soft, deep, peaceful exhalations. Keep spreading your hands into each other, pressing your hands into each other. The pressure from your hands, make sure that it's equal. Equal pressure from the right hand into the left, as you have with the left hand into the right. And keeping the spine moving inwards and upwards, and you draw the front of the body towards the back of the body. As you relax your face, draw the front of your face towards the back of your head. And we'll chant Om 3 times together. Feel the vibrations permeating through each and every cell, settling into each and every cell. And with your next exhalation, keep your sternum lifted, your shoulders back, releasing your chin to your top chest. Salute the divine light within. Or whatever name or form you choose. Then release the back of your hands to your thighs. Inhale, slowly lift your head. And quietly let your eyes open towards the floor in front of you. Okay, good. Come and stand in Uttanasana. Feet apart. Feet hip wide, outer edges of your feet parallel. For those of you with tighter backs, hands on your hips, otherwise stretch your arms up. Exhale, come forward. Create your concave spine. Stay on your fingertips. Don't be in a hurry to go too far. Give your body a little bit of time to open. Lift the inner legs, inner ankles, up and out. Inner knees, up and out. Inner thighs, up and out. Roll the front thighs back to open the back groins. As you push the top front thighs back, remembering those of you who hang in your knees to suck the belly of the calf in. Pushing the front thighs back, take the buttocks up, away from each other and over. And create more and more opening, space, awareness of the back groins. So the front groins are deep and soft, the back groins are wide and open. And keeping your hands to the floor for a bit longer, start to release the front of your body down if you're ready. Soften the brain, the eyes, get that releasing, relaxing of the inner organs. And if you're ready, hold your elbow. Breathe deeply. Either taking your hands onto your hips or stretching your elbows forward. Inhale, come up. Arms to either side. Roll your shoulders back and down. Then taking your mat to the wall. For Gomukhasana, hands into the wall. Thumb and forefinger pressing into the wall. So press your thumb and forefinger into the wall. Hands flat. Widen across the heels of your hands. Palm of your hands don't hang into one side of your hands. Keep all of the palm of the hand spread. Lift the hips, the buttocks. Keep that opening in the back groin. Keep the lifting of the buttock bones. And then, keeping the inner ankles lifted. Cut the front ankles back to take the heels towards the floor without losing that lift in the buttock bones. And without dropping the inner ankles either. You'll see if the inner ankles drop, the buttock bones drop. If the inner ankles lift, you'll better be able to keep the buttocks lifted. Rotation of your upper arms. Draw your shoulder blades towards the back waist and take the shoulder blades in towards the chin. Work both sides equally. Forearms, upper arms, left and right arms, equally extended. Lower legs, upper legs, left and right legs, equally extended. Both arms, both legs, equally extended. Keep opening those back groins. And step forward to come up. Now you're going to take your feet into the inner edges of the mat. So that your feet feel almost like they're turning in. The outer edges of your feet completely parallel. And come forward again into Uttanasana. Concave spine again to start. Keep the length. Head is last when you go down. So opening the front body, unrolling the front body. And at the last moment, releasing your head. Change the cross of your elbows. Now, some of you, when you hold your elbows, you close the back of your neck. So can you keep that width across the neck, across the shoulders? So don't let the shoulders hang down. There's a gentle, it's not like you're pulling them up, but you are widening them and making sure that there's no traffic jam between the shoulders and the neck. Inhale, come up. Take your arms down. Now taking the heels up the wall. Come forward for a moment. I'll show from the side again. So that your shoulders are over your arms. Rotation of those arms. Pull your upper arms back. Keep that slight concave movement in the spine to start. Watch it, the arms go forward as you go back. And pull up and back with your legs. Push away with your hands. So that by the time you release your head, your back will have straightened. But you think of keeping that concave movement so that the shoulder blades, the dorsal spine, stay into the body. Watch that you're not only on the heel of your hands, spread the hands and make sure that the side of the hands where the fingers join into the palm of the hand has as much pressure as the heels. Come forward again. For those with tight shoulders, remember you can turn your hands slightly out so that you can better get that rotation. And one more time. Inhale, exhale, go back slowly so that you can feel the arms want to use their rotation, but don't let them. Wide across the upper back, across the back of the neck. Draw the shoulder blades towards the back waist and take them deeply in as you take your sternum towards your thighs, and your thighs resist. They say, no, I don't want you coming closer, so I'm going to go away. So there's a challenge without closing the upper back, maintaining the rotation in the arms. How much can you take your chest towards your thighs? How much can your thighs pull up and back to the wall? And then step forward. Come up. Feet now on the outside of your mat, but your heels are a little bit away, so that you keep that inward rotation of the thighs. Lift your inner legs up and out. Exhale, come forward. Again, concave spine. Release your head. Hold your elbows. Thumbs in the creases of your elbows. Watch the space at the back of your neck. Legs lifting up and out, away from each other. Back groins open, abdomen relaxed, jaw relaxed, eyes and brain relaxed. And then inhale, come up. Stretch your arms up. Exhale, take your arms down. Feet together. And one more Uttanasana. Feet closer. and then inhale, come up again. Okay, good. And just adjust my screen once more. So now you're going to come to your wall again for Gomukhasana, full arm balance. So if you are not doing full arm balance, you're doing half handstand. So I'm just going to take a little bit of time to answer one of the questions about how do you, if I remember the question correctly without checking my phone, how do you find, the right distance for your hands? So in general, if you sit in Gomukhasana against the wall, you'll find the length of your legs, where your feet are, your heels of your feet is where the heels of your hands will start. So I can see where my feet were, place my hands there, and then up I go. And my feet can be hip wide. Now, if I struggle with my shoulders, then this will feel a little bit tight, and the back wants to fall outwards, not in towards the wall. So in that case, I need to give myself a little bit more distance and possibly also turn my hands out so that I have more space to come up, and instead of leaning forward, I can use that space to rotate the shoulders and bring the shoulder blades in. Okay, so either you're doing half handstand or you're doing the full pose. Now we're going to do it once each leg with 4 different placements of the hands. Hands forward, hands out, hands in, and hands back. So I'm giving you all these positions now. And if you just managing to get up into handstand with the hands forward and out, but the other positions aren't possible, then you are going to work them in half handstand. So you might do full arm balance with the arms, hands forward, and then go into the other variations in half handstand. If even that is too much, for example, when you turn the hands backwards, you could do a kind of like a on all fours and just work, and especially here, watch that the elbows don't fall into each other. Pull the elbows away from each other. Same thing for some of you with hyperflexible elbows. When the hands are turned out, the elbows want to come in. How you pull them out. So you see wrong action, or not action, it's a hanging, correct action. Okay, so off you go. If you haven't started already, in your own time, you have a few minutes in between. You'll be resting in Uttanasana, feet apart, holding your elbows. Okay, try and get a little bit. Okay. Watch where the weight is in the palms of your hands. So don't hang in the wrist side. Don't hang in the elbows. Extending the arms, rotating the arms, direction of the shoulder blades, and in to the chest with the shoulder blades. You rest just a moment until you recovered, and then you continue. Second leg, or start your variations of your hands. And if you finished before me or everyone else, you can do some shoulder openings. Gomukhasana, Asana. So come and have a quick look what you guys are doing. Remember to stretch those legs, heels up the wall, shoulder blades in. So your shoulder blades shouldn't be puffing out. If you're in full arm balance, they shouldn't be puffing towards the wall. If you're in half pose, they shouldn't be puffing into the center of the room. Use your front waist to back waist and lift those buttocks. Celine, that's looking good. At least you're managing to hold it up for a bit longer. If you're feeling adventurous and want to do any of the variations of the hands with 2 legs, by all means. And try not to bend your arms like I just did. Suck the inner elbows out as you work that rotation in the upper arms and shoulder blades in. So your elbows are not paying the price. Neither are your wrists. Spread the weight. Yes, sometimes the fingers will lift a little bit from the floor, but it doesn't mean you don't manage the situation. If also in between, when you're standing in Uttanasana, you can do Handstand. If your wrists are feeling already that they are a little tired from these different variations. So those of you with over flexible elbows, the hands facing in is a good variation for not overstretching, but the other positions where you do hang are good to practice not hanging. So not always about what helps you not to do the incorrect action. Sometimes going to that challenging pose where it wants to happen means that you have to watch it and check it. So both are necessary. Okay, so last one. We're getting there. Hands turned back. You're not going up in Adho Mukha Vrikshasana, then you're doing your on all fours and just working that stretching. So you can be a bit back from the wall, you can be over your hands and just gently move forward and backwards a few times. Oh, my band is in the way. It might not be your most elegant getting up, but can you get up anyway? Okay, you can just do once for the hands turning back and then Uttanasana. Then inhale, slowly come up. Okay, everybody can do a Uttanasana Padahastasana instead of Uttanasana. So obviously, with the inversions, you know, if you have your period, you'll do other things, but it doesn't always have to be Supta Baddha Konasana and restorative poses. You can do shoulder openings, you can do these poses with your hand into the wall, the different positions of the hand working the shoulder. So don't always automatically go to Supta Baddha Konasana, Supta Virasana. If we're doing like a deep work, challenging work, you can sometimes do certain openings of the wrist, of the shoulders that we're doing. So you're still following the class, even if not completely. All right, Pincha Mayurasana. Now remember not to hang in that lumbar. We spoke about Pinchamayurasana not that long ago. You can use your belt, you can use your block, you can use the wall, and don't take the sole of the foot flat to the wall, stretch the heel up the wall, front waist to back waist, direction of the buttocks, and shoulder blades, dorsal spine active. So you're not hanging in Pinchamayurasana, you're creating that movement with the shoulders. If you can find your balance and you want to start coming a little bit away from the wall, you can. So if you're against the wall, use your blocks and your belt. If you're away from the wall, maybe just the belt. Turn my hair. Off you go, Pinchamayurasana. Now, when you come down from Pinchamayurasana, you'll either relax in Virasana or or Uttanasana, but this time feet together. So after Adho Mukha Vrikshasana, it's feet apart. After Pinchamayurasana, it's feet together. Front waist to back waist. Press the forearms and lift the shoulder blades. Dorsal spine in. Lift the buttocks with the heels. No hanging in your lumbar. If I can talk and do it, you can do it. Uttanasana, feet together in between. We've done the left and the right. You can go to doing both. So you shouldn't be collapsing to the floor. Just like Adho Mukha, you're pushing away from the hands. Here now you've got an even bigger surface. The hands, the wrists, the whole forearm, the elbow, that you can push away from. So don't hang down to the floor. Lift away from the floor by pushing away with the forearms and hands and lifting with the feet and the legs. Keep the weight equal on both forearms. Both shoulder blades working equally. Uttanasana, feet together. If that's not for you, for whatever reason, for your back, then stay in Virasana. And inhale, come up. Okay, great. All right, so if you want to finish off, I'll just watch what's happening. You have another 30 seconds. Show me also what you're doing. That's it, good. Last time, or you can do a half one. If you can't get up to the wall, you can do feet into the wall. And if you feel like you're hanging in your lumbar, then take one leg to the wall for support and one leg up. And even if you can't get up, and you just work that lifting of the shoulders, that's it. Or you stretch one leg up at a time, up and back, that's already good. Not everybody has to go up straight away. So Tracy, you don't even have to go up. Just lift up the shoulders and lift one leg up at a time and push into your heel and stretch it up and back. That's it. So you can lift in the upper back, that you can lift in the shoulders. Excellent. Well done. And then change legs, Tracy. Those of you Come down, you can stay resting down, shoulder blades in, don't hang towards your head, push away from the wall with your upper back, and then release. Good. That is excellent. Well done, Tracy. Very, very good. Okay. You're feeling happy, Soraya. Fantastic. Okay, so now, flushed and red, better than a facial inversions. Getting that blood flow. So now you're going to do Shirsasana headstand. Now, if you're not going up into Shirsasana, doesn't matter. You're working Shirsasana. So you're interlocking your fingers, knuckles to the wall, and you're lifting and sucking the shoulder blades in and walking to the wall and lifting and bringing the dorsal spine and shoulder blades away from there. So you work that one interlock, second interlock, and you keep changing, and then really when you can't do the preparation anymore, then you'll come into Prasarita Padottanasana, hands round your ankles and lifting the shoulders. So those of you who are not doing Shirsasana. For those of you who are, 5 minutes is going to be starting in less than 30 seconds. So make sure that you're ready. You can go up already if you are ready already. So 5 minutes is starting. Keep those wrists stacked. Don't let your wrists fall in or out. Sometimes one wrist is falling in, the other is falling out. One elbow sliding out, one elbow sliding in. So stay connected with your foundation. So same principle as dog pose, as Pinchamayurasana. Cut, push away from the floor with the forearms and the edges of the wrist, center of the forearm and elbows, all pushing down. Now you can lift your shoulders so much that you could lift your head. So maybe you lift your head for a moment just to see how much you can create that action of lifting the shoulders. And then when you rest your head again, it's not heavy into the floor. There's space for your neck. Clear direction of the shoulder blades. Keep your brain quiet, eyes quiet. So even though if you're doing the preparation, doesn't mean you have to get tense. You're doing the best that you can, but in a optimal state of focus and relaxation at the same time. Don't let the buttocks hang towards the number. Keep lifting the top buttocks towards the midline. Keep rolling the thighs in. If you struggle to get that rotation, take your feet apart a bit. Stretch your legs up, roll your thighs in, and then take your feet together again, keeping the length, keeping the rotation. Lengthen the front of your legs, and then lengthen the back of your legs even more. Without hardening the abdomen, can you bring the front waist gently to the back waist so that you're aware that the back of the body isn't hanging forward, but is full, open, no hanging. So can you keep the outer structure firm, stable, lifted, and the inner organs relaxed? abdominal organs, diaphragm, heart, lungs, eyes, brain, all relaxing down as your shoulders, buttocks, legs lift up. So if you finish your preparations, you now, and you're not doing handstand, you know, Prac, feet wide apart, head down on the support and your shoulders lifting, keeping your legs active. Those of you in Shirshasana, turn your feet out. Sarvangasana in Shirshasana. Gomukhasana in Shirshasana. And those of you who are in Shirshasana, if you've come out, you don't go back up. Do not more than twice. If you come out, you can rest or do some shoulder openings while you wait. Or if you weren't up for long at all, you can also do prac. Stretch your legs up. Lift the shoulder blades extra. It's like the dorsal spine, and keep that action. And slowly, I really mean slowly, stretch your legs, make them firm. The firmer they are, the more stretched, the lighter they'll be. Lift the shoulders, stretch the legs. Lift the shoulders, stretch the legs. The minute you lose that stretch in the legs, will become heavy and you'll want to drop down. But if you can keep the firmness in the extension of your legs, you'll see it's much easier to control the descent. Virasana. Rest for a moment. Before you rest, just come up and check without moving your hands what happened. So you can become aware of what your tendency is. Sometimes if you stayed long enough, you can see the impression of your arms in the mat, and that also gives you feedback from where one arm was lighter, one arm shifted. So every Shirshasana, you check your feedback from the position of your hands. Rest for a moment. And then come and stand, feet together, Uttanasana. If feet together isn't for you, then you have to adapt accordingly. Okay, so ideally it's feet together, but if it's not good for your sacrum lumbar band, then you'll have to take your feet wider apart. And drop your head. Keep the shoulders wide away from the ears and the neck, and let the head drop. That weight of the head dropping creates a release, a traction for the spine, for the neck, to release after Shirshasana. And then inhale, come up. Exhale, take your arms down. Okay, I'm just going to readjust my camera. Come and sit in Vajrasana, feet together, knees together. Parvatasana in Vajrasana. So sitting, feet together, interlock your fingers and turn your hands up. Okay, interlock your fingers, turn your hands forward. Keep that front raise to back raise, and inhale, slowly stretch your arms up. Keep the rotation of your shoulders, suck your shoulder blades in, and lengthen the sides of your body. And exhale, take your arms down. Second interlock of your fingers. Turn your hands forward. Use the shoulder blades as the hinge. So as the arms lift up, the shoulder blades draw down and in. So It's not that the arms lift and the shoulders lift. The arms lift and the shoulder blades move down. And now suck your shoulder blades into your chest. Breathe behind the top step. And release. Good. Okay, so not this Saturday past, Saturday before, we were doing a little bit of chaturanga. So we're going to come back to that. Now, you're not going to aggress yourself and force. If you know that you struggle with your wrist and don't get off the floor at all, today you can take your bricks for underneath your thighs. But if you don't need the bricks, then definitely don't take them. There's sometimes when everybody works with the bricks. Today, the bricks underneath the front thighs, I'll show now, is an option so that for some, they don't have to carry so much weight. And they can work the actions of the legs, of the thighs, the rotation of the shoulders, not letting the abdomen hang, front waist to back waist. So you're still working all the actions that those of us without the blocks will be working, okay? So let's get ready. We'll do it together. And remember, we're not panicking and flying into the pose. However, we are preparing ourselves step by step, creating the essential actions before we go up. And when you go up, you pushing with your hands and lifting your hips at the same time. So wrong movement is to push with your hands and then lift your hips. Or, sorry, I was still going. Or to do the opposite, to lift the hips and then push with the hands. So those are the wrong movements. The correct is feet, thighs, abdomen, shoulders. I'm all prepared. I use my breath. I push with my hands and lift my hips in one go. So let's go. Those with the bricks, don't lift off the bricks. You're just pushing to lift your shoulders on the same height as your hips. I'm coming to see if there's any improvement. So push into your heels. Lift your thighs. Engage the abdomen, front waist to back waist. Elbows in, shoulders roll back. Inhale, exhale, lift. Push with your hands and lift your hips at the same time. The same time. Don't lose the movement in the heels. That's it. And release. Trace your hands can come slightly back. They're a little bit forward. Bring them, if you can, a little bit more to, there we go. Then you'll get that action of the shoulders back. If your hands are too far forward, then I'm too far forward to the camera for you to see. But if your hands are too far forward, the shoulders, you can't quite get them back. If you move the hands down, you'll better get that position. That's a priya. Better position of the hands. Okay, there we go. More abdominal engagement. More front thigh. Nisha, not bad. Good. Okay, just those shoulders back a bit more, but at least the hips and everything weren't overdoing. Celine, pas du tout. That was a complete cheat. I don't actually care if you lift off the floor or not. Okay, so last chance. Don't be in such a hurry. Rest in between. Prepare yourself properly, step by step, and we're going to hold it for a while. If you come down, you do those preparations as rapidly as you can to join back in. So let me have a look at my timer. Let's see if we can hold it for at least 30 seconds. Maybe if you come down, you go straight back in. Keep activating all those essential parts. Feet, thighs, abdomen, shoulders back, breath. 10 more seconds. 5. And release. Okay. Good. Is everything okay? Elaine, ça va? I hope, okay. I think you're saying thumbs up, but you're sitting up instead of lying down. So So I'm just wondering, if you were doing it, you should be flat on the floor, catching your breath. Okay, good. Now, those on the bricks, I don't know, actually, I haven't tried Chaturanga 2 on the bricks. Let me see. Otherwise, you're going to, so hold on. Yeah, it's possible. You just slide, okay? So sliding forward and back. Now, it's a little bit kind of sticky, but it's possible. We're going to do Chaturanga 1 to 2. Let's go from Adho Mukha, just to get a little bit of lightness. Chaturanga 1, shoulders back, 2, and 1, and 2, and 1. Flow forwards and backwards, or hop even, and then release. So you can flow, or you can hop. Make it rapid and use your breath. And your tailbone is not lifted. Okay, let's go again. And release. Relax your arms. Turn your head to one side. And breathe. Gomukhasana, right leg. Now it's not just my face that's red, my arms also. So blood should be flowing everywhere right now. Tailbone back and down, abdomen forward. Remember, you've got 3 options if you for your hands. So you can't get the hands forward, you've got 2 others. Back or hands starting to come to the final position, turning out, but not with the hand turning to face in, with the fingers facing in. Forward, out, or back. And release. Other side. Lengthen. So when you bend your leg, don't shorten. Lengthen the thigh back. And then come into Gomukhasana. Breathe deeply. And release. Good. Adho Mukha, dog pose, head down. And then bend your legs, come onto all fours. And turn your hands to face backwards again. Now, when you've turned your hands to face backwards, the shoulders want to come forward. Can you pull the shoulders back and pull the chest forward, even with this position of your hands? And even when you move your hips back, how your shoulders stay back. So don't leave your shoulders behind. So you start over your wrists, pull the shoulders back, keep them back, and don't force, don't aggress. Maybe this is already your maximum. Maybe you can't move any further. But if you can, you go deeper and deeper backwards. Watch those inner elbows. Release for a moment. Okay. So watch here in the straight arm position that your elbows aren't paying the price for tight wrists and tight shoulders. Okay. So what we spoke about earlier in handstand is that the X shape wants to happen in some arms. Now you have to suck the inner elbows away from each other when you do this. So let's do this preparation one more time. So please, you stay where it's optimum for you. Remember that if you aggress the body, you're no longer doing yoga because you've broken the principle of ahimsa. You're being aggressive to yourself. So you and satya, truth. You have to honestly say, this is enough, and I'm not going to aggress. I'm going to do what I can without aggressing. If you can come into straight legs and do an Gomukhasana, but no aggressing. And now watch how the weight wants to fall into the inner hand, the little finger side of the heel of the hand. Can you spread the weight across the hand? And then bend your legs. And release. Shoulders back and down. Breathe. So, watch the width. Careful that the hand doesn't bunch, doesn't close, and careful that you're not hanging onto one side of the hand or the other, or the back. Okay, so mostly in these balance slings, we put too much weight on the heel side of the hand, and even if the fingers want to bunch up a little bit, how much can you bring the weight here? So I hope it's clear. So we want to put too much weight here, or maybe more on one side or more on the other, depending on the direction our hand is. And we have to learn to spread the weight through the whole palm of the hand, even if there's a little bit of bunching in the fingers. Okay, because sometimes we can't avoid that bunching, especially when it comes to balancing. Some of you have done handstand away from the wall, you'll see there's this kind of like wanting to grip the floor, and actually, strangely enough, that gripping actually gives us less contact. So yes, it might happen, but not just to hang. What can we do to bring some more weight? So we have the tendency, we have some things that we can't avoid, but that awareness helps us to manage it as best as possible, not just to hang wherever we end up hanging. So we're going to do Mayurasana. Even if you can't get up with the legs, doesn't matter, even just placing the elbows into the abdomen and being in that kind of on your knees is still getting a certain massage into the abdominal organs and a working of the wrists. You're not going to force it, okay? So if you want to watch, you can watch first. So my head on the floor, and I'm taking my hands back. My hands are almost between my knees, and I'm taking my elbows as low towards the bottom of the abdomen as possible. Then I take my knees out the way, and then I bring my abdomen into contact. Now, I look up, shoulders back, and then I come forward. So this is a little bit of the trick. If you start too far forward, you've got nowhere to go to, and you won't get the feet to lift the floor. So if you think of Chaturanga Dandasana 1 and 2, if I start Chaturanga Dandasana 1 with my hands too far forward, I can't get forward. Okay, if I start Mayurasana, let me try and show. If I start with my elbows too far forward and my head too far forward, and then I try to go up, I'll kind of crash. And don't worry if you crash, just soften the body. It's not the worst thing in the world to fall. If I start back, stretch my legs, make them light. Remember, like when I said when you come down from Shirsasana, stretch legs, become lighter, and then you flow forward into Mayurasana. So off you go. We'll all do it together once more, and then I'll come and check what you do. So placing the hands to face back, almost between your knees. Then you have to shift the knees back. Keep the elbows into the lower abdomen as much as possible. Lift your head, but be back. Shoulders back, sternum lifted. Now stretch your legs. Make them light. Breathe. Keep your chest lifted. And stretch your legs. Okay. And maybe you don't hold for long, it's okay. Let's see. So Priya, you have to lift that head with your legs further back. Your legs are way too far forward. Take your feet far enough back that you can lift your head up. Not bad, Sarah. That's it, Tracy. Just try and get your elbows more in. I know boobs sometimes get in the way, but even if you can just rest on all fours with your elbows digging into your abdomen, that's good. Very nice, Maura. Although I can't see everything, what I can see is good. Okay. Release for a moment, and let's not give up just yet. Give it another go. So if you're not going up, head on the floor to start. You're putting your elbows in, and can you just lift your head, even with your legs bent? So can you come into this position? Then head down, and then come forward. So the trick is to get the elbows in and out. Now I know boobs sometimes get in the way, so you've kind of got to wiggle, wiggle, wiggle in. Now, that's the one thing. Second thing, those of you who are not getting up, it's like you have nose dived or head dived and crashed before you've even taken off. So, okay, I'm seeing this with a couple of you. You're here and you're stuck here, but that's I can hardly get up here either. That's because you haven't come back enough. So, take your legs back, 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 back. Lift your head, sternum forward, then stretch the legs back. Okay? Come back. Start back. You know, for example, a bow and arrow or a catty or something, even when you're going to throw a ball, you don't throw it from here, you go back, then you can launch forward. You can't start forward and expect to get far. You've got to create a little bit of a backward movement. Come on, Celine, pull back with your legs. Walk them back, walk them back, walk them back, till your head can lift off the floor. If you just get that today, those of you who feel stuck, now that's it, Priya, walk those legs back. Head can be on the floor initially, and then walk your feet back. Walk your feet back, further back, stretch them back, back. Your tailbone is flying, your bum is up to the earth. Go onto the tops of your feet and walk your feet back. It's okay. Well done, Maura. Excellent. Wonderful. Soraya, if you stretch those legs like crazy, you're so close. Okay. All right. Hélène, tu as monté? Kind of, a tiny bit. That's okay. A tiny bit gives you the taste. Okay. Now, I don't want us to overdo the wrists. If you're done, you're going to come and sit in Sukhasana, simple cross legs, and you're going to stretch your hands forward, lift your arms up. Okay, I'm going to give you one more. All right, let's split it. Those who are getting it, it's actually easier to do Padma Mayurasana because you've got less distance to work with. But this is only for people with easy Padmasana. We haven't done Padmasana preparation. So you come into Padmasana and you do the same thing in Padmasana. Elbows in. No, you don't have so much that you have to lift. So it's actually easier if you have Padmasana. Okay, so if you've got easy Padmasana, that's for you. Talking and doing it is a little bit challenging. If you don't have easy Padmasana, but you felt you were just getting a taste and you want to have a few more tries, that's fine. Or you're sitting in Sukhasana on a big height, and then you're going to work preparation for Padmasana with the bent leg, one side each. So this is for those of you who've had enough with your wrists and don't have Padmasana. You're on enough height, you can create a right angle everywhere. You do it once each side with the leg on the floor bent, and then the second time you have each side, right and left, you do the leg on the floor straight. So, has everybody given up on Mayurasana? Or is there anybody going to try it? Okay, Elena's still there. More is in Padmasana. Excellent. Okay, so those of you doing your opening for Padmasana, just keep going. Make sure you're getting that movement from the hip. Those of you doing Padma Mayurasana or Mayurasana, last few moments to see what you can get. Okay, good. Those of you doing your preparation, finish off on the second side. And then everybody come and do Handstand. So finish off. If you haven't done both sides, your preparation, finish off, and then come into Handstand. Breathe deeply and relax your wrists. Press with your thumbs into the mound of the heel of the hand, other fingers into where the mound of the heel of the hand joins into the wrist. And then release. Inhale and come up. Wonderful. Okay, good. Hopefully you went slightly out of your comfort zone today. I also haven't done Mayurasana in a long time. So the wonderful thing is that if we do enough kind of a general all-round practice, even if we don't get to practice certain things on a regular basis, they're within reach. So if your practice is consistent, you have a certain level of opening and stability in the body, then it doesn't have to be a big deal to do things that you haven't done in a while, as long as your overall practice is stable. Okay, either taking the belts for Supta Padangusthasana 1, you can take it, so tight bodies, you can take the belt on the heel with your double loop, not the single like I've got. More open, you can go with your loop, arms over your head, or very open or even more open, hold the big toe, Supta Padangusthasana 1. So you've got 3 options of how you're stretching your legs. Watch your shoulder for those, or for everybody actually, shoulders back, especially if you're holding with one hand. Relax your jaw and breathe. And then release, and the other side. Keep the back of the leg open, keep the front thigh resisting. Breathe deeply to relax the body, to release the body. And second time, this time, those that can hold around their foot, lift your head, take your head to your leg, then stretch the leg, then release the head. Watch that leg on the floor is not fly. So the deeper you go with the top leg, the more you have to watch the leg on the floor and watch the position of the head. Relax your jaw, eyes, brain, and breathe. And release. Watch that leg. And then je vois le jambe au sol vol. So don't let the leg on the floor fly. Change sides, second side. That's it. Off you go. So either holding the belt, the big toe. Celine, you're cheating. The leg on the floor has to be stretched first. Then you stretch the top leg. That's it. Stretch the leg on the floor. Then you stretch the leg. then you take the head to the floor. Keep that front thigh pushing back, Alison. Good. Watch that leg on the floor, everybody. Breathe. Both legs fully extended. So there's no point in taking your left leg, your top leg, closer towards you if everything is bending or distorting. And it's better to find where is it that you can keep all the correct actions while still challenging yourself, but without distorting what the asana actually is. And not pushing so far that there's not that possibility to relax into yourself, to keep an awareness of your breath, to observe yourself as a whole. And then release. Good. Supta Padangusthasana 2. If you need to place the support under your head, you can do so. Out to hip back and down. Both edges of your waist equally long. Leg on the floor is the brain of the pose. Then hand underneath your foot, draw your foot onto the top thigh. Extend from the hip thigh, quadricep away, knee away. Ardha Padmasana position, don't arch the back, keep both hips equally on the floor, don't force, just what comes. Then bend the left leg, Ardha Padmasana in Ekapada Supta Uttanasana. Relax your groins, your hips, and breathe. Don't force. Nothing is forced. Soft, relaxed, and then release, coming to Urdhva Prasarita Padasana. Stretch both legs for a moment, squeezing your knees, and stretch your arms over your head. Bend your knees in towards you, stretch your right leg, take your left leg into Supta Padangusthasana 2. Right leg is the brain of the pose, extending and rotating and pressing along the floor. Jaw is relaxed, eyes relaxed, brain relaxed. If your head is falling back, by all means take a support. Then hands are underneath the foot, so the little toe edge of the foot, not the inner edge, outer edge. From there, draw your foot to the top of your thigh, and the outer hip extends with the quadricep towards the knee as you extend the knee away and release it down, not forcing it down, just what comes. And can you get that opening in the front groin a little bit? Sometimes I often get a little click there as I do this. Then bend your right leg, tailbone buttocks away. Change the interlock of your fingers over the head of the shin bone. Ardha Padmasana in Ekapada Supta Uttanasana. I'm going to ask you to repeat the name when we get to the question and answer session. It's not so complicated, actually. It just sounds very long. Because I didn't say that the questions were only from you. I might have some questions to you. Your head is falling back. You can always take your hands under your head, lengthen, and get that rolling action in the head before release. Then come into changing look of your thumbs, Urdhva Prasarita Padasana 90 degrees. If you have your period, remember you do something else, have your knees towards you, Dvipada Supta Uttanasana, for example. Squeeze your knees, breathe. If really the legs are very far away, You could take the belt so that you can easier come towards 90 degrees. I don't want you to be straining right now. I want full extension of the bones of the legs, compactness in the knees, and a sense of quietness in the body. And then bend your knees in towards you and come into Supta Baddha Konasana, tailbone buttocks away and relax. And just then check what we're doing all the time. Relax your throat, relax your shoulders. Feel how your shoulder blades are resting equally flat into the floor. So you don't want to feel the points of your shoulder blades more than the middle and top shoulder blades. So adjust by using the rotation of your upper arms to get that optimal placement of the shoulder blades. If you need to help your head, then you can do so. Throat is relaxed. Abdomen relaxed. And breathe. Observe where you're holding on to unnecessary tension. Where can you let go further? Let go deeper. And come into Baddha Konasana. Take hold of your front ankles, and then if you can't reach, you simply use your belt. And then you roll onto your shoulders, lift the pelvis initially, roll those upper arms underneath you, shoulder blades in, coming almost onto the top of your shoulders. And when you bring the pelvis down, tailbone buttocks away from you to rest down. So either with the belt or without. Baddha Konasana. Bound ankle pose. Supta, I should say. Baddha Supta Baddha Konasana. Baddha Supta Baddha Konasana. And then release. Relax again for a moment. And lift your knees together, feet on the floor, tailbone buttocks away. Roll onto your side. So, two groups, those doing shoulder stand, you're going to do shoulder stand and Talasana, and then Sarvangasana, Sarvangasana, Shavasana. Those are your next sequencing. If you're not doing shoulder stand, you're doing Sarvangasana, Sarvangasana with your brick or with your bolster or your foams, whatever. Remember that your feet have to be, if you have lumbar issues, the feet are going to be on something as high as the bolster. You'll tie your feet together, slide back. For some of you, even you may need an extra height of blanket if your bolster is too high. Your feet are lifted. Imagine I've got something under my feet. So Setu Bandha, and from Setu Bandha, you'll go just a moment, simple cross legs, and then legs up the wall. And if you have your period and you're not taking the legs up the wall, you'll go from Setu Bandha to you'll just do some forward bends. You can start with the Gomukhasana, Sukhasana, Yana, Shusasana, and Paschimottanasana. So I hope that that's clear, because not everybody is always able to do the same thing for various reasons. So the thing to concentrate on, it's not what everybody has to do, but it's what you have to do. And it probably doesn't sound like so much. I'll just come and check. If there's anybody that's not sure, Tracy, you're way too far back on your bolster. You need to be that your shoulder blades are towards the bolster and your shoulders to the floor. So that's also what I would do if I were you, because that's a little bit high and hard, is rather fold a blanket in a rectangular shape, because you don't need to go too high for your back and your shoulders. You take a blanket and you fold it, and then you can use your blanket, or you could do two blankets if one blanket would be a little bit low. Even the second blanket doesn't have to be folded so much. And have your belt around your feet so that your feet aren't falling out. Hip wide, or even a little bit wider. Start with your buttocks almost off your support and slide back so that just your shoulders come to the floor, and you keep that rolling action in your chest and rolling in your head. If you go too far back, the head kind of falls back and you collapse instead of keep the lift. Okay, let's just check. Is there anybody else who's not sure, Daisy, what they're doing? Make sure you get properly onto your shoulders. So don't be in a hurry to go up. What on earth is happening? Okay, you're all back. I lost you for a moment. Okay. Don't hang. Tailbone in, pubic bone forward, and lift your front thighs. Priya, that's looking very nice. Hands as low towards the floor as you can make them. Celine, if you turn your hands that way, you're making your life very difficult. Your palms of your hands towards the spine, not towards the back, not turned. I don't know how to explain what it is you were doing. That's better. Okay. So when you feel you're starting to sink and drop in Sarvangasana, you'll come into Handstand, and when you're starting to drop in Handstand, you'll come back into Sarvangasana until the time is up. And those of you in Setu Bandha, you just stay and enjoy and relax into that opening that the support creates for you. throat relaxed, eyes relaxed, brain relaxed. But if you're in Sarvangasana, there's no collapsing. Keep lifting the skin of your back with the edges of your forefinger, tailbone in as you keep rolling your inner thighs, front thighs back. Stretch into your heels, balls of your big toes. Suck your outer ankles to your inner ankles. Your hands slip towards your buttocks and your buttocks drop down to your hands, and reposition your hands and find that lift again. Relax your abdomen, your diaphragm, your heart and the lungs. Relax your eyes and your brain. So you can do Padmasana in Sarvangasana. Come up to Padmasana in Sarvangasana. And then Pindasana. If you can't do Padmasana, you can do Ekapada Sarvangasana. Those of you in Pindasana, come back up. Change the cross of your legs. When you're ready, when you finish your variations on both sides, if you haven't already, you can go to Halasana. You take your belt off for Pindasana to wrap your hands around your legs. If you've been in Halasana for a while and you want to do Upavishta Konasana in Halasana and Karna Pindasana, Parshvanadasana, you can carry on with some variations. If you've come out of your Sarvangasana Halasana, then you can do Setubandha Sarvangasana. Those of you in Setubandha can stay a bit longer if you're comfortable. If your lumbar has had enough, you can come out, come simple cross legs forward on each side before taking the legs up the wall. Either in Viparita Karani or Upaprasrita Padasana. So either just 90 degrees or with your support if you know how. Place myself a bit close to the wall for Parshvanadasana. or Gomukhasana. But those of you who want to do it can do it. If you've come down from Sarvangasana and you haven't got into your Setu Bandha yet, it would also be nice to do a quick Yatara Parivartanasana. It's up to you. Okay, everybody, if you haven't come down yet, come down from Sarvangasana. You haven't come out of your Setu Bandha, come out so long. And then coming either into Setu Bandha Sarvangasana, legs up the wall, forward bends if you have your period. Quick Yatara Parivartanasana for those of you who keep holding Setu Bandha after shoulder stand. So, the three options now are legs up the wall, forward bends, or Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. Those of you who've done shoulder stand can do with the brick, not the bolster. Unless there's a reason why you need the bolster. But you should be able to do it with the brick. You can have your feet into the wall, you can have your feet on bricks also. You do it according to your body's needs. What's optimal for you in this moment. Do both interlocks of the fingers behind your back and Setu Bandha for a few moments each interlock before releasing your arms to either side. And now for those with easy Padmasana, if you want to do Uttama Mayurasana. So Padmasana in a Setu Bandha position. You can also use your belt to tie your Padmasana together if it's loose. If you've got a compact Padmasana, then it's not so necessary. and change. You come back into the Sarvangasana. No matter what variation you're in right now, what you're doing now, you're in a peaceful state where you're connected with your breath, you're relaxing from inside. Then those of you with your legs up the wall, cross your legs on the wall. Those of you in Setabanda, come out slowly. Lifting your hips 2 or 3 times. Coming down onto your different heights. Rest for a moment, knees together, feet apart. Feet not too close into you. Now, if your back felt a little tired and achy, you could come and do simple crossed legs going forward, Gomukhasana or Yogamudrasana and Swastikasana. Or you're feeling like you're at this optimal placing in your shoulders. You've got the release of your lumbar. You can come and lie straight away into Shavasana. Those against the wall, we'll do the second cross of your legs for a few moments and then also make your way into Shavasana. And if you're doing your Yoga Mudrasana and Swastikasana, Sukhasana, once you finish, Shavasana. Coming back to your inhalations. When you're ready, bend your legs one at a time. Your feet on the floor, tailbone buttocks gently away from you. Roll onto your right side with your right arm under your head or your blanket under your head. Left arm resting along the left side. When your eyes open, don't rush to focus them straight away. They can open, close, open again. And then slowly turning to the floor. Can sit. Join your hands. Namaste. Thank you, everybody. I find that, of course, restorative poses helps us to quieten and settle over that class, but sometimes when you do this stronger practice, it's like one of the best shavasanas. I hope you enjoyed your shavasana, even though I wasn't talking to guide you through it. And thank you. I hope you had fun like I did, and made the most of this group energy to do some stuff that maybe you wouldn't have done on your own. I'm going to take mute off now, and we can start to go through some of those questions. If some of you have to go, I will be recording this and sharing it with you later. Okay, I think you're off mute. All right, except Ellen and Soraya. Maybe you put you off, Maura. Bye.
Yes, I have to go. I'm sorry. Thanks. It was a fabulous class.
Wonderful.
It was lovely.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Good. And Tracy, super well done. It wasn't quite the mini workshop phase, but you did fantastically. And you know what? It's fun to try. As long as you're not forcing anything, it's good just to try. And it doesn't matter if you get things or not. And if you saw how useless I was when I started yoga, you'd never feel like you were bad, because I didn't start off like this. I was never a dancer or a gymnast or anything. I couldn't do a cartwheel as a kid. And I love the fact that I'm 40 this year and that I can do more now than I could at 80. Like, still this year, I'm getting things that I never thought I would get. Like, it's still unfolding, it's still happening. So, you know, don't be despondent when things don't come, because you never know. And if they don't come this lifetime, well, you've made a start for the next one. Okay. So where is my phone? Let me just grab it, because some of you sent me some questions. So I'm going to start with the questions that were already sent to me in advance. And then if we have time, we can get on to the other questions. Okay. So I already addressed a little bit the question from Alison with the handstand, half handstand. Did that answer your question, Alison, or do you need a little bit more detail?
I wasn't here when you did the half handstand, because I started late today, but it's fine. If you did it in the class, then I can watch it later, then it's fine.
You can watch it. Okay, basically, are you just wanting to know the distance of the hands from the wall and things like that, or what do you want to know?
Just because when Lars did it the other day, I've always done it at a right angle, and he looked like he didn't, and I was a bit confused. And
okay, so
but if you did it today, it's fine.
Okay, the ideal is to get to a right angle, and Lars definitely doesn't have a problem with his shoulders. Well, not that I know of, it doesn't look like it. But sometimes you have to take hands a little bit further apart for shoulder issues, because, yes, and then I'm recording the questions. See, my time is still going. Sometimes you can't get up, like you just can't. The shoulders can't come in that more compact space. So you've got to give a little bit more distance so that the shoulder blades can come in. Otherwise, what happens is you just can't hold it. Okay,
So for people who couldn't do it, it's okay to have their hands a little bit further
a
forward.
little bit. You've got to start somewhere. You know what? We have an ideal. I think I said this in one of the classes that we've had online, in that we have an ideal that we're working towards, but we have to start somewhere. So as long as what we're starting is not an outright cheating, just whatever comes easiest, but we're starting with what we can manage, understanding where we want to work towards and doing it consciously. So if consciously we say we can't manage the hands closer, we have to take them apart, but we're doing the work of our shoulder blades, we're doing the work of our upper back, then at least we get to do something. Are you off, Alana? Okay, which is better than nothing. Or you want to ask the next question?
No, I have to go.
You have to go. Okay.
Okay,
No
thanks.
problem. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Okay, so does that make it clearer?
I will listen again.
Perfect.
I have to go as well. Thank you, Diz.
Okay, pleasure,
I will
Elaine.
listen
Bye.
again. Thank
You'll
you.
listen later, sure.
Have a good day.
Okay. Tracy, do you have a question? Oops, you're good. You're just listening. Perfect. Okay. All right. So I've answered. Anybody else have any question about half handstand while we're on that? All good. Okay. Yes.
Eva, I mean, I wonder if my bum isn't sort of lifted up. Are you meant to be like a tabletop, or, you know?
You are a tabletop, but the buttock bones have to lift up a little bit. Otherwise, you drop. So you do have to lift the front thighs, and you do have to lift the buttocks like you would in a half uttanasana, or like you would in dog pose, you know. So you do have to create that lifting of the buttocks, that lifting of the front thighs, so that you can create optimally that right angle. But if the buttocks aren't lifting, then the whole pose is going to collapse. Okay, and remember that that pushing of the feet into the floor is going to stabilize floor, the wall is going to stabilize your pose. From that contact with the feet, almost like you want to, it's not like you're resting them on the wall, it's like you, if this is my heel, I'm pushing it through the wall, then I get that lock, you know, almost like a mudra, you know, or like your foot in vrikshasana or something. It's not just placed where it can slip, it's sealed into the wall. Then from there you can lift the front thighs, lift the buttocks. With that lift of the thighs and the buttocks, you make space to work the arms and bring the shoulder blades in. If the buttocks and the legs are dropping, you're compressing and closing in the shoulders and the arms, and you can't do the proper work. So the legs are very important, whether it's half handstand or full handstand or headstand. We need to create space that we can do the work, the essential work in the upper back and the shoulder blades. Does that make sense? Okay, wonderful. All right, so I've answered one of Alison's questions. She sent me a few on WhatsApp. Those of you who are here, maybe if you have a question before I go on to one of Alison's other questions. Anybody? Oh, nobody has any questions. Okay, let me go and find Alison's WhatsApp. Unless you remember what it is that you asked me, Alison.
I also asked about vrikshasana. I just wanted to know also, are you trying to keep the knee parallel,
yes.
or are you working it down? I don't
know. No, you're not working it down. You're working it back. So I remember your question now. I'm going to lift this up a little bit so that you can see better, hopefully. You don't have to see my head as long as you can see my legs. So you're working this opening of the inner thigh, the hip, the movement of the knee. So your leg is high up, okay, and taking it back. You're not pulling the knee down. Also, the more you pull the knee down, the more you're going to want to hang in that outer leg. So that outer standing leg is coming in, and the bent leg is going back. Not this kind of sinking one side, bulging the other. Ooh, when I do that, it gives me like a funny feeling. So I don't know if it's just me, because I'm sometimes amazed that people can do these strange positionings when it feels so bad. You know, like if I do quickly sometimes to show the wrong pose, it's okay, but if I hold it too long, it's a horrible feeling. So sometimes, if you're not sure, don't aggress, but feel. Does this feel right? What is going right? What is going wrong? Does this feel better? What is going right? Am I hanging anywhere? So it isn't always as complicated as we think to find the correction. What is the correct action? And of course we can get confused, my hair band, and your teachers are always there to help. But I find, like, if you're in the middle of a practice, for example, an easy one to help you understand this is the rotation of the upper arm. So as a beginner, sometimes you're confused, not that you guys are beginners, but you think, oh, my arm's supposed to roll this way, I'm supposed to roll that way. Now, if you do both, I hope I'm in frame. If I'm doing both, now I'm rolling that way. What is the feeling? Now I'm rolling this way. What is the feeling? Am I here? I'm closing. Oh, okay, so that can't be right because I'm pinching my spine and my shoulder blades are coming out. Here, I'm opening and I can bring my shoulder blades in. Plus, when you're in dog pose or something, it's the more challenging one. So that's often a sign that you're in the right direction. If it's not so easy, if it's not hanging, it's not kind of what you do automatically, then it's the other way that's normally right. So I've said I often have been questioning myself, why is it that we do the wrong thing easier than the right thing? And my understanding that I've come to within myself is that it's a driver to consciousness, because it makes us choose to consciously do it because it's better for us. But if we're not being conscious, then we're going to be in a state that's not optimal. And I often think, like, but animals, you know, when they move, when they run, they're so naturally in balance, you know, but maybe it's a little bit the price we paid that we've created an artificial environment. So our bodies aren't in the balance that they would be, say we were living more naturally. So we have to choose consciousness. We have to choose the direction we place our body, how we hold our body. And that makes us human because we have that consciousness to choose. So maybe we have the little bit of a, I don't want to say drawback, but somehow the way we live has taken us into bad habits, bad, or what other word to use about, not optimal automatic responses. Often our automatic responses are not optimal. But if we're conscious, then we get to choose an optimal response. That takes us somewhere beyond just that physical level of things into being more conscious human beings. So that's where all of this looks so technical, so physical, but it's not. It's really driving us into being conscious. Okay, so that's a long answer for Vrikshasana.
What I just wanted to say was, I'm physio, so I see a lot of gravitational forces because of the way people sit and everything. I think a lot of the time it's the work against gravity which is hard. So it's like doing that because people just do that, so it becomes the natural way in which you go and just allow gravity to take over.
And maybe it is, you know, like if maybe it is our structure on 2 feet, you know, whatever. And for example, okay, birds have 2 feet, but they don't, most of them don't live the way we do. They, who knows? But yeah, gravity definitely has a lot to do with it, you know, that sinking. A lot of issues that we have, especially when we practice for longer also, is that hanging in the joints. You know, when you're stiff as a beginner, you just stretch and you do the best that you can. Whatever comes is wonderful. Then you practice longer and longer, and then suddenly your elbows start to give before your shoulders open, you know, and then you get that hanging in certain parts of the body or hanging in the back of the knees. So we have to learn not to hang, to consciously align the bones of the body, hold certain things in place, hold where we want to let go, relax where we want to hold on, so that we can bring ourselves into a state of optimal balance. Okay, and I think you even had a third question, Alison, didn't you?
I think I did, but I don't remember what it was.
Let me have a look quickly if I can find you. Another question for Vrikshasana. Oh, if you do back bends daily.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a little bit of a tricky answer. I don't think there's one right answer, and I think it depends on you. So there are many yogis that have taken one or two asanas, and that's what they do all day, every day. You know, Vike told me a story about when he was in the Himalayas and he would walk past this yogi who was doing Paschimottanasana, and he never saw this guy not in Paschimottanasana. From all his way walking past him, he would turn around, try and catch him, see if he had moved. He would spend hours in Paschimottanasana a day. You know, there are other people that you hear are doing 5 minutes Urdhva Dhanurasanas a day, or, you know, serious back bends a day, or maybe people that have gone to the institute and have certain conditions, especially depression and things like that. They'll be given lots of back bends. But for some people, too many back bends and not enough other poses to stabilize can make the back not stable enough, you know, like to hang a little bit, what we were talking about, that hanging, which is not ideal. So it depends on you, it depends on your structure, it depends on what your practice is. The ideal is to have an optimal balance between your standing poses, forward bends, twists, back bends, that your back is able to move with ease in all directions. Laterally, let's not forget about the lateral movements. And often we struggle with back bends. You know, so kids actually struggle with forward bends and they're better with back bends. As we get older, it shifts. We become, you know, kind of more comfortable going forward, less comfortable going back, you know. And as kids, life is an adventure, so they want to go into the unknown. As adults, we want to go towards the known going forward and not go into the unknown going back. We like our comfort zone. So back bends takes us out of our comfort zone. It's where that dorsal spine starts to want to come out, it brings it in, so it makes the spine youthful. It has so many benefits. I would say that if you struggle with back bends, maybe for a period of time, you should be doing them every day, till you break that rigidity in the spine. Then you need to do them maybe 2-3 times a week, but not every day. So there definitely is a benefit if you're struggling with a pose or a group of poses to do them for a month, every single day. Because if you do them once or twice a month, it's not enough to shift. So for a time, that is for your 40 days, for your month, for your 2 weeks, that is your practice. Afterwards, do enough to maintain or to cycle through the groups of poses enough. So I understand why Lars says every day, and it may be for some people that they need that. But I feel like maybe it's for a period of time every day, and then make sure you have an overall balance between the poses. But what, you know, like who's to say that, but also we're not yogis, you know, in living in Himalayas and able to do this one specific kind of practice. I think as general practitioners, people with a family life, we're trying to create as much balance and health, some of that inner connection, that inner space, balance between inner world, outer world, balance in our body. So an overall practice is a good thing. And that's one of the things that I love about Iyengar yoga, is that it's so vast. It's almost impossible for a normal person to practice everything that they should. I struggle constantly to do everything that I know that I should do. My what's it called? The flip side of that is what I was saying earlier, is that I do know that if we've got at least certain poses, the things that we don't get to practice regularly will come. You know, like I said, a certain amount of opening, certain amount of strength and stability. We don't have to necessarily do all of them all the time, but still, you know, we get into a comfort zone of this is our practice. And we have to push ourselves out of that every now and again and do those things that aren't within our regular daily practice. Okay, so I think we might do this more often, like maybe once a month, because I know Celine said she had lots of questions, but she couldn't stay. And hopefully your guys' questions help each other. You know, things you might not have thought of, you're going to be able to integrate that. Tracy.
Just a practical question. Is there anywhere where I can buy a bolster and buy some bricks at the moment that might be open?
At the moment, as far as I know, because I've had one or two people already ask this, Monica doesn't have stock. I would say it's an essential item. You go get equipment. So I'll chat to you afterwards, and we'll see what plan we can make for you to get some stuff. You know, I'll wash. You can borrow some stuff that I've got. I'll wash it. Put it in a box. You can spray it with some sterilizer. It will stay within. Well, I mean, I'm not going to go into whether we agree that this is correct or not, but respecting other people's views and the country's laws, we'll try and do it optimally, and I'll lend you some stuff until you can get some. Okay, wonderful, everybody. Thank you again for joining me.
Thank you.
Lisa,
Yes.
you've been observing my Sheshasana, and now I'm doing it freestanding.
Yes.
After many years. What's your take on the observation regarding my Sheshasana? I haven't asked you this before, so yeah.
So it's definitely improving, but in general, Suraya, that structure and that kind of, so the upper arms of yours want to puff out. And
Yeah.
so that rotation, but in general, you're getting there and the structure is stabilizing. But you have to be very clear that you, like one of the things we talked about with Alison earlier, that you're not hanging. You're not finding your balance by hanging. You're finding your balance by becoming firm and stretched and lifted. So you can see, like, for example, break dancers and stuff like that. You know, they'll do a handstand and they're almost like hanging into the pose. We find our balance in a different way by creating like a stacking of the structure of the bones of the and a lifting and a lightness, because we're also holding optimally for much longer. We're not, you know, and we're on our heads. So shoulder stand, headstand, to hang into it, even elbow balance when there isn't weight on your head, to hang is not going to be doing good. So these poses are very good poses for the nervous system. I mean, looking light on yoga, what to do for nearly any issue, you'll have shoulder stand or headstand for many of them. I don't say every single one, but for many, they do so much good. But they only do good if we do them well. They don't, if we end up with a neck issues and disc issues and inner ears closing from doing Sarvangasana wrong, then better not to even do them. And that would be sad to miss out on all the benefits. So I'd say that it's great that you're moving away from the wall, great that you're getting a firmer structure, but don't let balance away from the wall be your primary goal. Let the structure and the lightness and the optimal placement of the dorsal spine, shoulder blades, neck, foundation be more important. Then it's almost like the balance becomes effortless. When you've got enough stretch, we did it in full arm balance and in Pinchamayurasana, when you stretch those legs enough, suddenly you don't need the wall anymore. It's not like you're trying to find the balance. It's like the balance is there because all the other foundations and actions are in place. Then the balance is a small step. Okay. Nisha, you have anything?
Thank you.
All good.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, guys.
Thank
Wonderful.
Thank
Lots
you.
and lots of love.
Thank you so much.
See you all
Okay.
soon. Okay.
Bye.
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 Bye.